Have you ever felt something inside you, something powerful, desperately trying to break free? What if your greatest talent was right there, hiding in plain sight, and no one ever noticed? This is the story of Emma Riley, young woman who went from cleaning hotel rooms to becoming a leader in a tech company transforming millions of lives, and how one small moment of courage changed everything. Every morning at 6:30 sharp, Emma Riley pushed her cleaning cart through the polished marble corridors of the Grand Metropolitan Hotel. Her uniform was perfectly pressed. Her smile was polite. To the guests walking by in tailored suits, she was invisible. Just another cog in the giant hotel machine. But behind that quiet exterior, Emma carried a secret. Only 3 years earlier, she had been a promising linguistics student, specializing in American Sign Language. Her younger brother Marcus had lost his hearing at age 12 in a tragic car accident. Since then, Emma had devoted herself to learning sign language not just for academic purposes, but to be her brother's bridge to the world. Her dream was clear, to become a certified interpreter, maybe even a teacher at the local deaf school. But life had other plans. When their father lost his job and their mother's health declined, Emma made a heartbreaking decision. She dropped out of college in her final semester to work full-time. The hotel job kept the bills paid and her brother in school. But every towel she folded, every bathroom she scrubbed, felt like another step away from her dreams. The only place where her skills lived on was in her evening conversations with Marcus. Occasionally during lunch breaks, Emma would sit alone in a quiet service corridor, practicing complex sign language sentences with invisible partners. Sometimes, she'd translate news broadcasts, playing silently on the hotel's lobby TV, her hands dancing through the air, unnoticed. But someone was watching. Mrs. June Hall, the hotel's veteran supervisor, had worked there for over 3 decades. She'd seen hundreds of employees come and go, but she saw something rare in Emma. "That girl's got depth," Mrs. Hall often told her husband. "She's not meant for cleaning rooms forever." The Grand Metropolitan wasn't just any hotel. It was where CEOs struck million-dollar deals over breakfast, where politicians met in secret, where Silicon Valley's elites stayed when they wanted to be seen. There were 2 kinds of staff. The visible, the concierges, managers, front desk staff, the invisible housekeepers, maintenance workers, kitchen staff. Emma belonged to the invisible group. She performed her job with quiet dignity, knowing the powerful guests barely noticed her, until one morning, assigned to the executive floors that day, Emma entered suite 4247 after knocking and hearing no reply. The room was spotless, except for one thing. On the private balcony stood Caleb Morgan. Caleb Morgan, CEO and co-founder of TechBridge Solutions. Among the world admired. His company had revolutionized assistive technology, making advanced hearing aids affordable for millions. Forbes, Time, Business Insider. He was everywhere, but in that moment, Caleb Morgan wasn't the confident CEO the world knew. He stood stiff, shoulders tense, gazing at the skyline, lost in thought. Then, Emma noticed something strange. Caleb's hands moved slightly, rough, hesitant gestures, but unmistakably an attempt at sign language. He was signing help. Without thinking, Emma gently tapped on the glass door. Startled, Caleb turned. For a moment, they simply stared at each other, the powerful executive and the invisible housekeeper. Then Emma slowly lifted her hands and signed with precision. "Good morning. You are not alone." Caleb's face softened instantly, recognition and relief. For the first time in months, he felt truly seen. 2 days later, Emma's supervisor found her restocking supplies with an unusual look. "Emma, you're needed on the 47th floor. Executive offices." No housekeeper was ever called there. Her stomach twisted with anxiety. When she arrived, she was led into Caleb Morgan's personal office. He smiled warmly. "Please, sit down," he said. Emma perched nervously on the edge of the chair. "You're Emma Riley," Caleb began. "On the balcony, you signed to me." Emma's cheeks flushed. "I hope I didn't overstep, sir." "You seemed like you don't apologize," he interrupted gently. "How long have you known sign language?" Emma explained. She'd learned from Marcus, her younger brother, after his accident. She'd studied it extensively in college before dropping out due to family circumstances. Caleb listened intently, then leaned forward. "Emma, my company is developing new AI-assisted communication tools for the deaf community. We need someone who understands not only sign language, but the human side of it. Would you consider consulting with us?" Emma blinked in disbelief. "Sir, I'm not qualified. I never finished my degree. I'm just a housekeeper." Caleb shook his head. You're someone with real-world expertise, empathy, and lived experience. That's exactly what we need. She hesitated. I don't want to take on something I'm not ready for. Caleb smiled softly. When I was a child, I was deaf for 2 years because of an accident. Those years taught me something no MBA ever could, the difference between hearing and truly listening. You reminded me why I started this company. Emma sat in stunned silence. Could this really be happening? That night, Emma sat at the kitchen table, staring at Caleb's business card. The fear gnawed her. Marcus entered and signed. What's holding you back? Emma whispered her biggest fear. What if I fail? Marcus replied with a wisdom far beyond his years. What if you succeed? And in that moment, Emma realized the greater risk wasn't failure. The greater risk was never trying. With trembling hands, she called Caleb. Mr. Morgan, I'd like to try. The next afternoon, Emma walked into TechBridge Solutions' office, a world far removed from hotel service corridors. Inside, there were whiteboards filled with diagrams, engineers, coding, prototypes, scattered across tables. Welcome to organized chaos, Caleb grinned. For the next 2 hours, Emma reviewed their AI interface. Immediately, she identified key issues their trained engineers had missed. Regional variations in signs, subtle differences in hand positioning, emotional context that no algorithm had yet grasped. This gesture doesn't mean confused, it means frustrated. 2 entirely different emotions, she explained. Caleb was electrified. That's exactly why we need you. As the weeks passed, Emma found herself thriving. The software's accuracy leaped from 40% to 87%. Beta testers reported vastly improved communication. Her expertise wasn't about formal credentials, it was about living the reality of deaf communication every day. But not everyone supported Emma's meteoric rise. One afternoon, while cleaning, she overheard a heated conversation between Sarah Chun, her hotel supervisor, and Caleb. Mr. Moore, she's a housekeeper, not a consultant. She doesn't belong in corporate development. Caleb's voice was calm but firm. She has identified more usability issues in weeks than our previous consultants found in months.